Welcome to the Out of Capes podcast for Arrow Season 3, Episode 1, a weekly podcast focusing on the CW's Arrow series. I am your co-host, Stafa,
Yeah, I am the other co-host, Eric.
and the way how this episode will be structured is that we're going to have an episode recap, review and rate the episode, and then we're going to have a wall in which we warn for spoilers and our theories, and we'll go into that after that. So basically, I got a lot less notes for this episode than I do the Flash because I didn't start taking notes till halfway through the episode. So Eric, go ahead and if you feel like I missed something, go ahead. But we start off pretty much showing off that Roy has a new suit. I mean, that's what I'm taking the whole first scene was about.
And it's flipping.
Yep, he's doing a flip.
He flipped over the car for no reason. He had to flip multiple times off the car.
I was thinking the same thing too, but I just did. I was like, okay, good job, buddy. You can flip. I can't, so congrats. But I'm pretty sure that's a stunt double because you couldn't see the face.
Yep. I mean, there's sometimes where he has a stunt double and you can't see the face if you pause the scene.
Mm-hmm. So after that, there's the flashback to Hong Kong.
Yes.
And Oliver is a master of stealth and escaping. Obviously. I mean, now, if you were trying to escape, what would you do, Eric? What would you do?
Not run through a busy crowd pushing people over.
Exactly. Well, first of all, it'd be kind of tough for you because he's in Hong Kong and you're like 12 feet tall.
And white and blonde hair.
But I mean, same with Stephen Amell. So whatever. He had a blonde wig. But I mean, personally, I figure that the best thing to do is kind of hide in shadows.
Yes.
Either that or hide within the crowd, blend in, try to blend in.
The way they acted was he's done this before, so he's probably he might have done that as his first try, and it failed. So he's trying to just do the more drastic, which is try to grab anyone who has a phone or telephone and try to contact home.
I mean, what he should have grabbed instead of some random person's phone?
What?
Is maybe grab someone's hat, put on his head. Bend your knees a little bit. Shorten yourself up, slouch. Kind of disappear.
Go behind the newspaper.
It's like, dear mom, I'm alive. And then as soon as he tries to click send, the dude throws.
The question is how would she know who this is? It's just, dear mom, I'm alive. It's just from some random person in China.
He didn't even log in.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, the dude chasing them breaks the monitor.
Yes.
The computer still works, buddy. All you have to do is press enter. But yeah, that came off. It could have been done better.
Yes.
A lot better. Now, what the majority of fans were all waiting for. Olicity. Are you an Olicity shipper?
I am not.
Me neither. I really don't care.
I
don't care, but most of the
things where it's not gonna work.
Most of the fans want it to happen.
Yep.
I mean, she's a likable character. I mean, that's fine, but do you really want him with her? I mean, sorry, her with him because he he is a floozy.
That, and also Green Arrow has a well-known long-term girlfriend slash wife in the comic.
Yes.
So like, it's
Yes.
not like a character where he doesn't have a set girlfriend. He
Mhm.
does have a set girlfriend. There's ones that just don't, and they can have him hook up with anyone.
Mhm. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, yes, Oliver is a floozy. I mean, how many girls has he been in 2 seasons so far? A lot.
98. I
Exactly.
counted.
I
I counted
mean,
them. I was
he
there for
dated
each
he
one.
dated one girl for like 2 days. He dated another girl, and even though she wanted to go long distance, she broke up with him.
Speaking of like dating a girl for 2 days, like this Olicity relationship seemed like it was extremely rushed.
Yes.
Like it seemed like they wanted it to start, happen, and end as quickly as possible, the just so they can give the viewers something,
Yeah.
and then be like, we don't want this to happen, so we're gonna crush it.
I
You
mean,
get what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, but I think also they wanted to go through the whole thing to get to the point where they have the tension between them also for the rest of the season on will they, won't they?
It just happened so fast though. Like
Yeah.
I would have expected, like, okay,
I mean,
this
like season two,
episode.
he had show no emotion. There was just the casual flirting, and then
Mhm.
season three, which is only 5 months later, all of a sudden he loves her. I mean,
Mhm.
what happened in 5 months, we probably won't know, but that's just a huge jump from casual flirting to all of a sudden I love you.
Like I expected, like maybe this episode would build up to him asking her out, and then the
Yes.
next episode would be a date, and then the next episode maybe another date, and then at the episode of that maybe it would get destroyed, but it was like it all happened in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, we also get introduced in this episode to Count Vertigo 2,
Yes.
who is this, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think this Russian dude,
Eh,
I think.
I think
I'm
he's
gonna say
from
Russian.
some like Eastern European country.
Alright,
He's
this
actually like the guy from the comics.
so this dude is like this he's bullseye pretty much with amazing dart aim.
Yes.
Just throwing darts full of this vertigo drug at everyone. And yeah, what do you think about him being introduced?
I think a lot of people didn't like the first Count Vertigo, so they wanted to go for one that's actually like a little more closer to the comics and kind of make him have that Eastern European. But
Wasn't the first one like had some type of an accent of some sorts?
the first one to me sounded like a cheap like Joker knockoff who just sells
Like
drugs.
he sounded like he was from Transylvania.
Yeah,
Like he was Dracula. I will give you my vertigo.
he is. This one that I mean the comics he's from Latvia, wherever
Hmm.
that is. So
Yeah, the made up country.
So in there, I'm guessing they just made him Eastern European, so they get the dude who's known for playing Russian dudes to
Yeah,
play it.
I don't know, like I wasn't really too interested in this new one because he just seemed like this random middle-aged dude who has this ability to like throw darts everywhere perfectly.
And
And
he's improved Vertigo to make it hallucinate. So to me, it kind of seemed like Vertigo, but mixed with Scarecrow, and with
yeah,
an Eastern European accent.
and then like he gets jailed by the end of the episode, and he's like, "Oh, there'll be more Count Vertigos." It's like
Yes.
great.
It's so kind of like it's just a title. Anyone can become Vertigo.
Yeah, it's like okay, great. So he basically said that he's a throwaway character.
Yes. But they'll probably bring him back.
Daddy Diggle.
Yes.
So we have yeah, Diggle Daddy. He's over there with his ex-wife. You
I don't
know.
even understand that pregnancy though. I mean, she somehow is 9 months pregnant after only a 5 month gap. Like, what kind of like drugs are they giving Argus people that they can be 9 months pregnant after only 5 months?
It
Well,
happens, bro.
it happens.
It's comics,
All that radiation.
TV. So, um, we also see that Lance has heart problems.
Yes. And I'm guessing that's from the season 2 finale. Like, he
Yeah,
had the problem.
they didn't really.
I
Did they really?
supposedly they hash it in the comic 2.5, but I have not read that yet.
Did they explain it in the show? Because like at the
No.
end, the finale of season 3,
Yeah.
like he was having a heart attack, and then now.
Supposedly they explain in the comic what happened, and then they explain why he takes the pills that he does.
Okay,
The whole
so
point of like they have Arrow Comic 2.5 is to explain some of the stuff that happens in between,
that's
and
lazy.
and they also supposedly they explain how Oliver has the money to give Roy a brand new suit, but has no money, so he's living in the place. Which, by the way, if he doesn't have control of the company, how the hell is he still able to get into under the nightclub if that's owned by the company too?
Not explained.
Exactly.
Speaking of the nightclub and all that, like
Yes.
I find it odd that Oliver Queen, not at one point was he concerned about his sister. Like last he knew, she went out of town to go to where Bloodhaven,
Yeah.
and he never wanted to check up on her.
In the thing, he said that she's like, she goes, I'm going to Bloodhaven, and she said she'll call him when she gets all settled. So, kind of like he told her to get out of the city before and everything, and then she said she'll call him when she gets everything set up and blah, blah. So he was waiting the call, and then I guess over the 5 month span, she told him that she was going to go explore Europe, that kind of stuff instead, and find herself.
Man, how she have the money to explore Europe?
Exactly.
Come on now, exploring Europe costs money.
The whole point, I think, also is what they don't show is that Queen have money in other accounts besides the company
Mm-hmm.
that like Isabel couldn't get to, but it's not a lot of money. Where like they drive around in like brand new sports cars and live in mansions, but they have some money.
Mm-hmm. What else we got next? We got Ray Palmer. He gets introduced. We see, Felicity has a job, pretty much Geek Squad.
But when I first saw him, I was like, why? If I didn't know he was Ray Palmer, and he's gonna be the Atom, I would think it was Superman just walking into the tech store. He just seemed like the Superman, like he was all like, "What's up?" Like this, like normal kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what they're trying to do is try to set up this whole like love triangle between Oliver, Felicity, and Ray.
This
As a CW, and they have to
don't-
have love triangles.
I don't know what this dude's name is off the top of my head, but he
Brandon
is.
Routh.
What's that?
Brandon Routh.
Brandon Ralph.
I'm guessing yes. It's Brandon something. Starts with an R.
Okay. So far he seems like he is a much better actor when he's not playing Superman.
Exactly.
Like he was.
I mean, I liked him as a character. He kind of brought Arrow is very dark and gritty, and he kind of brought some humor to it.
Yeah, like he seemed pretty decent here as Ray Palmer, and he wasn't bad in what's it called, Scott
Chuck.
Pilgrim.
Chuck and Scott Pilgrim.
I haven't watched Chuck, but Scott Pilgrim, he was an interesting character. So he was just a really bad Superman.
Yeah.
But
Supposedly he likes himself as Superman in that movie.
he was. Everything was wrong with that
He
movie.
met some people that actually like him as Superman too. So I mean, it's just more people don't like him as Superman.
Everything was wrong with that movie.
We're not going to get into that movie.
Superman got beat up by Kumar.
True. Very true.
Okay, so he's quickly revealed to be Ray Palmer,
Yeah.
the other bidder for Queen Consolidated, and that's funny. That in Arrow it's called Queen Consolidated, but in the end of Flash, it was called Queen Inc.
Queen Industries or, yeah,
Incorporated.
Incorporated, whatever.
Um,
What I
but
also liked about him
mhm.
was when he pulled out he pulled out the slideshow thing. He pulled out from his belt, which is a nod to when he was the Atom. He pressed something on his belt, and that's how he shrunk.
Uh-huh.
So there was a nod to that. And then him whole renaming the city to Star City is what it's actually called in the comics.
Yeah.
So,
Now, one thing about the Atom, isn't he supposed to be a short guy? Like, don't they?
Probably to shrink, but I don't think he's that short.
But like I remember in one comic I was reading, he enlarged himself, to his regular size, and like someone made a comment about, hey, did you enlarge yourself all the way? Because you still seem kind of small.
I mean, it's CW, so they're gonna take some liberties with size of an actor.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like just like in Gotham, they make Penguin be as tall as everyone else.
Yeah, where they already thought, oh gosh, the Penguin's supposed to be short and stout. He's tall and lanky.
Yeah, he's as tall as Jim Gordon, exact same height. But anyways, yeah, that's not a huge deal. Just something I wanted, note about Ray Palmer. But as you mentioned, he wanted to rebrand Starling City as Star City. Can a corporation do that?
I don't know. Just rename a whole city. I mean, I can understand maybe if they were part of the tourism department, but I don't think they can rename a whole city.
And it's not like they're part of the government either. It's not like it's the mayor's office where the mayor's like, hey, let's consider renaming the city.
I mean, have they even got into who the mayor is? I mean, first of all, it's going to be Moira, and then she gets killed, and then Blood was the mayor, and then he gets killed. So who's the mayor? Who's running this town?
Slade.
Slade?
Slade.
Okay, Slade.
Obviously Slade, because he has all the resources.
True.
He has infinite resources.
Infinite over 5-year span.
So after that, we pretty much have this scene at a boxing fight in which Vertigo 2, he sets up this Vertigo bomb.
Do you understand the references of the boxing ring, though?
No.
Okay. One of the boxers is Wildcat. Wildcat's going to be in the season later on.
Okay.
And in the comics, Wildcat's the one that trains Black Canary. He's also trained Batman.
Okay.
Problem is, in comics, Wildcat's 50 years old.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to make him this young dude. That's why they had a flash of the jacket to say the Wildcat on the back of it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yes, they're trying to print that Wildcat's going to be in the season later on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that is a major part of Wildcat's character, that he is an older person.
Yeah, you've seen the Justice League comic, cartoon.
Yeah.
And the whole how he's this old dude in a black spandex suit with a cat mask on.
Yeah. In Batman Brave and the Bold, Wildcat is voiced by was that Full Metal Jacket dude?
Oh, Robert Ermey.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's an older guy. That's a major thing about his character. I mean, it's not even a minor thing where it's oh,
it's a huge age difference.
Let's make this this Asian character, let's make him Russian instead.
I mean, they've
whatever.
changed characters before. I mean, in comics, Shadows technically has a kid with Oliver. So, and she's dead. So.
Oh, you mean Shadow, right?
Yes, Shadow.
You mean Ra's al Ghul, right?
You're the expert on that kind of like dialect stuff.
So okay, we have this, the scene at the boxing fight, and eventually, Roy has to freeze the bomb, because there's no blue wire or whatever,
No yellow.
no yellow wire. Um, and Sarah returns during this scene, in which uh, Oliver Queen is fighting with Vertigo too, and he just lets Vertigo
He's a
throw
druggie.
that dart
He is
onto
a
him.
druggie.
He just lets him do it. He didn't even like try to move out of the way.
I mean, he wanted to face his own fear in a way. So he kind of let him
And
shoot the thing. That
his
way he
fear
could
that
conquer it.
we learn that his fear is Oliver Queen.
His fear is letting himself be Oliver Queen.
Hmm.
Because he can't be two people.
Hmm.
Supposedly, I mean, according to the writers, this whole season is about identity. Not just with Oliver, but with all the characters.
Now, one thing that kind of boggled me about that whole dart was
Yes.
that hi uh, Oliver's suit is leather.
Yes.
Leather is a very tough material. How did it
I
go
mean,
through?
he could be a professional dart champion, for all I know. He could do
No, that
special
was
darts that go through Kevlar. I don't know.
yeah, that was amazing. So after that, uh, we have a scene that pretty much Barry from The Flash calls up Oliver and says, "Hey, I need to talk with you." And that way it ties in with The
So,
Flash showing.
chronologically, the Arrow episode comes before the Barry episode.
Hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
they're trying to say.
Well, I took it as they're basically saying they're taking place around the same time. It's
Yes.
not
I mean, they're
months
both
apart or anything.
chronological set at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have Sarah and Laurel together,
Yes.
and as Sarah is, alone on a rooftop, she turns around, sees somebody who has a voice mask on,
Yes.
and you know shoots her, and she dies. And we can talk about that in the spoiler section.
Yes. Because I have a theory on who it could be.
Yes. So anything that I missed that you can think of? Because I was kind of light on the
I
notes.
mean, like, kind of getting to my point of the identity is, in this episode, it kind of, like, Oliver has to decide, the whole point of Oliver can't be both Oliver and Green Arrow. Like, Detective or Commissioner Lance now, he wants to be a cop, but
Hmm.
his body won't let him be a cop anymore. So it's the whole, like, I want to be out on the streets, but he physically and medically can't be cleared to
I
be
I
on the
love
streets
the
anymore.
scene where they're like they were like in the sewers or something.
Yes.
and, and Lance was just randomly there to like hit somebody with a flashlight. Like, what are you doing there, dude?
Or, okay, and then after that scene, they go to the Italian restaurant with Felicity, and he puts his duffel bag with his suit in, like, the service elevator. Like,
Mhm.
when I saw that, I was like, how do you know he's going to be there when he comes back?
Speaking of which, that's the scene I forgot to mention.
Yes.
When that restaurant blew up,
Yes.
Oliver's first instinct was to take Felicity to the hideout,
Yes.
not the hospital,
The hideout.
the hideout.
Yes.
That seems very irresponsible.
I love, yes, and I love how, like, 25 hours later, she's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's like. Plus, she was more injured than him, yet he covered her up with his body.
Yes.
How'd that happen?
I
Should it
don't
be the other
know.
way
And also,
around?
if you see, like, when the things, he pushes a table on top of her, so she should not have gotten any damage as much as she did.
Yeah. Like, he had no reason not to take her to the hospital. Like, they were in civilian clothing, at a public place. It wasn't
I
like,
mean, I can see a little like he had to get his suit from the service elevator, and that then, but still, like you can go to the hospital with a duffel bag.
yeah, or
So
whatever. Then it's just like he should have taken her to the hospital, plain and simple. Like, well, there was no story reason for him not to take her to the
yeah.
hospital. Anything else that I missed out on? I mean, that I forgot to mention that we want to talk about?
Um. Oh, Katana, or not Katana. He escapes, and so Waller puts him in the hotel room.
Okay.
He makes him live with that guard that was chasing him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
I
So if
think
you leave, she's gonna kill my family.
mhm. I think that felt really rushed.
It did.
Like,
Because they want to have some way to explain who they are, because like we'll talk about this a little more in the spoilers,
uh
like who they are in the comics.
yeah. Um, well, since we mentioned Waller, I just
Yeah.
want to like put this out there that I'm not a fan of
Jimmy Waller,
slim, hot-looking Amanda Waller.
you're used to
I like I
Jake
like
Ponder Waller, where she's like fat and like
Fat Waller is best Waller. I mean, her nickname is the Wall.
the wall.
I mean, like, I just like the fact that there's this character that is unattractive, but like is a powerful, has no, yeah, is unattractive, has no physical powers, but is like, has a political power. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like,
Also, you want the sassy black woman too.
like I don't. There is not a need to make every character hot.
It's CW though; they have to.
They don't need to do it. It's not necessary.
She might
Ugly
let
people
herself
can
go.
be important too.
This is an origin story. She might let herself go.
All right. So, do we have anything else before we review?
I mean, the Oliver's like, well, Thea never sends me photos, and then Roy gets all angry because he still wants Thea and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah. All right. Let's okay, review. We'll use the same review scale as we used in the Flash podcast, which is 5 solid stars. And what would you use, Eric?
I say probably. I give it probably a 3. A lot of it seemed rushed, but also I think they're trying to put a lot of plot lines for the whole season in that episode. So I give it about a 3.
For a season premiere, which
Yeah.
is supposed to like get me really hyped for the show,
Yeah.
I give this a 2. Like, I wasn't really happy with it. There was just a lot of plot holes, a lot of it felt very rushed. A lot of scenes felt rushed, a lot of
Yeah.
plots felt rushed, a lot of the characters felt rushed.
Yeah.
Vertigo 2 felt rushed.
I mean, I saw somewhere someone said it felt like this was like the pilot episode, where they're just trying to like put as much storyline and storylines and plot lines they can put in for future episodes in one episode.
Yeah, and I don't think it should be that way. I mean, this is season 3. This is
Yes,
not season 1.
and also CW's main cash cow right now.
And like, in comparison with the Flash, which I like, if you have not listened or watched that podcast, I'll go more in depth in what I thought about that episode. But I feel like Flash, for not only a season premiere but a series premiere, it did a much better job. It got like the characters established. These new characters established. It got the story established. It did not feel rushed. This Arrow has these already established characters, and it felt rushed.
Yeah.
So, hopefully next week it's better, but I wasn't happy with this week's episode. So, I guess that's it for our review.
Yep.
Listeners, if you want to let us know what you think of Arrow, write into capes at outofcontinues.com. That's CAPES at outofcontinues.com. And if next week after the episode airs on Wednesday, you can after you watch the episode, write into us what you think of that episode, and we'll read it on next week's podcast. We'll do our wrap up and then go into our spoilers after the wrap up. So help support the show by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review, or contact by email at capes@outofcontinues.com. All these can be found on the website, which is www.outofcontinues.com/TV podcasts. You can also check out my video game podcast at outofcontinues.com. Give me a tweet. I am at Sayedstafa. That's SAYEDSTAFA. Eric over here, on the other hand,
doesn't have a Twitter.
Does not believe in Twitter. It's against his religion. So that's it.
Know what I'm doing?
You don't need to write down everything that you're doing. Just tweet. So with that said, I'm your co-host Stafa.
And I'm the other one, Eric.
Later. All right. So final warning. Spoilers.
Turn back now.
Spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, go. Turn it off. Other than that, let's roll.
Well, I mean, what do you want to start off with?
Sarah dies.
Okay. I believe, since I've read the comics, and the preview showed, plus I know who's going to be in that.
Which comics? The 2.5 or the comic comics?
Actual Green Arrow, New 52.
Okay.
And they did an arc called The Outsiders War, and they had a character named Kabono, and he is going to be in the next episode. So I believe it is going to be Kimono killed her, because if it was Thea, like some people believe, she would say, "Hey Thea," not say, "What are you doing here?" Because she would react differently. If it was Raw, then she would act even more differently. So I really believe it's Kimono that killed her.
Okay. My theory, as a person who does not read the comics, I thought it was it's going to be Ra's al Ghul.
Why? Why?
Ra's, not Raz.
Ra's.
Well, she said, "What are you doing here?" So it is someone she knows, but not someone she expects to be there.
It could be an employee, another employee. If it was her boss, she would have said his name.
So it could also be LOL.
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 LOL. I'm laughing out loud. So, I don't know. I personally thought it was Ra's al Ghul because he's a character that's going to be introduced in this season.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. Spoiler alert.
Title The Magician.
And so that's why I was thinking it was him. I mean, what was that one girl's name? I can't remember. Raish's daughter.
Oh.
Nadia?
Nisa's going to be in episode 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be her because, she didn't want her dead.
I can believe in somewhat of your theory that it's Raish because of, he gets pissed off about his daughter dating another girl.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's, what's her face? Thea, because if it was Thea, I mean, she's using the voice mask. It wouldn't make her voice sound like a guy's voice, because
Yeah.
like Sarah used the voice mask in season 2,
Yeah.
and it totally did not make her
It made
voice
her a
sound
deeper
like,
voice.
yeah, it didn't make her sound like Oliver's, voice mask. Um, what
Some
other?
people believe because she sent a text to him saying that she was in Maltese, whatever, kind
Mm,
of as a alibi, but she was actually in town.
what other
And
spoilers do we want to talk about?
okay, the Japanese people that Oliver's with, or the
Yes,
Hong Kong people. The
yes.
girl is in the comics known as Katana.
Hmm.
Okay, and in the comics, Katana has a sword who possesses the soul of her husband, who
Hmm.
we actually saw as the guy who was in charge of watching over Oliver. So sometime in this series, he has to die, and then she will have the sword called the Soul Keeper, which brings into also Kimono, because Kimono tries to bring forth all the weapon totem clans like Sword, which is led by Katana, and Oliver's dad is the former leader of the Arrow clan, and so Kimono wants to take down Green Arrow, Oliver, because he wants to be the leader of the Arrow clan.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm trying to think what other spoiler theories.
Well, while you're thinking of that, I just want to mention real quick with the whole Sarah thing,
Yes.
Sarah dying. I feel like they put that in there because the way how season 2 ended,
Yes.
fans were like, "Oh, that means she still might be back,"
Yeah.
and like,
They want Laura to be Black Canary, and so
yeah,
they
like
have to do it. To me, I
I.
think killing her off like the way they did is
Mhm.
really bad. Like, just killing her, like, they're like, oh, she survived because everyone thought she was going to die in the finale, and then
Mhm.
come back the season premiere, she just dies at the very end.
Yeah,
And then Laurel's been through enough. I hate Laurel as a character, but I think she's been through enough. She does not need to see her sister fall off a building.
yeah, and like I okay, when they introduced Sarah as the Black Canary, she was gone for 5 years and then got raised, like got trained by the League of Assassins, which explains why she, is how she is, making her, such a good fighter. And like taking Laurel, who has like absolutely no,
Self-defense classes.
has a few self-defense classes, but other than that, no like hardcore training at all. Like,
Supposedly he's like the best fighter in DC Comics.
yeah, like it does not seem plausible to transform her from that character to one of the best fighters in DC Comics.
It's almost like, holy, we created Sarah. We didn't think a lot of people like Sarah, and somehow everyone likes Sarah as the Canary. We're screwed, so we have to kill her off somehow.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, I don't like it. They personally, if it was, like if it was my choice, I would have just kept Sarah as the Black Canary.
Yeah.
That's, I liked her.
Yeah.
She's fine, but whatever.
Supposedly there was a photo today that was released and showed that Laurel, Katie Cassidy, was getting her mask fitted today, which means sometime halfway through the season she'll probably have a mask.
Mhm. Okay.
I mean,
Um.
because I know right now they just filmed the crossover episode of Flash and Arrow, which puts it around 9 or 10.
And is this crossover episode going to be Arrow or is it going to be Flash?
I think it's going to be episode 8 for both.
So,
Like episode 8 of Flash, and then technically it'll be continued in episode 8 of Arrow the next day.
so is it going to be one episode that they're going to call both Arrow and Flash?
Yes. It's
Okay,
like 1 2-hour long episode that's split off into Flash and Arrow days.
that is really weird because like this, it's never really happened. Like this kind of situation was never really available before.
I mean, they
Like,
did it occasionally with like the $1 Million Man and the $1 Million Woman kind of thing, but
mhm.
not to this effect.
Yeah, this is
where you have the same two characters on two different shows being on
on the
show.
same network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've already released the villain for that episode, or one of the villains, which is Captain Boomerang.
Oi!
Oi, the
Oi!
Australian.
Oi!
Yes, he's actually going to be played by an Australian.
Oh, so he's gonna be Slade Wilson.
Playing Raish, right?
What's that?
Do you know who's playing Raish?
Yes.
So how do you feel about an Australian guy playing Raish Al Ghul?
I've never seen this guy before. I know he's in the last Riddick movie, but I never saw that movie.
And supposedly did some like Australian version of Sons of Anarchy with Slade, so Slade knows him, like Manu Bennett.
Like, personally, I have no clue who this guy is, so I can't really judge. You know, I have no opinion on him.
Yeah.
I have nothing to base my opinion on. Any more spoilers we want to talk about?
Trying to think. That I know spoiler wise, not really. Oh, Cupid. I know Cupid's gonna be in the season sometime. I was waiting for this time.
Who's Cupid?
Cupid in the comics is this character that is obsessed with Green Arrow to a point where she kills people, Green Arrow's villains, to get to make him happy. And it was one of those characters where I've been saying for multiple years, I was waiting for the character to arrive, because the character was created by one of the writers of the show. He is in control of this character. He designed it, he created it, and I was waiting for him to put his little fingerprint of his DC character he created in the show. And I don't know how it's going to react, because some people thought Felicity was going to turn into Cupid, but who knows now.
That sounds so romantic.
I know.
I bet you.
Supernatural, because CW has to reuse their stars.
You heard it here first. Confirmed. Breaking news. That episode will be in February.
Yes.
You heard it here first. Confirmed. It's gonna be in February.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
So, I mean, that seems like all I got.
The crossover's going to be in December, so that puts the next few episodes January and February. So yeah, it would be in February.
Mhm. All right, let's wrap things up since we have been recording for quite a while.
Okay.
All right, so that's it. See you guys next week when we talk about Arrow Season 3, Episode 2.
Called Sarah.
Sarah. I'm Staffa.
And I'm Eric.
Later.
Later.